Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about breastfeeding and specifically why we decided to breastfeed exclusively for around 12 months. And so you probably know this guy, but if you don't, you can introduce yourself.
So my name's Shukul, I'm Divya's husband, and I am the co-founder and director of a health and nutrition consultancy called High Carb Health. So I'm just going to be talking a little bit from a nutritional perspective as to why we decided to breastfeed Alia for as long as we did.
That's really important because I can give my experience, and certainly I've done some research, but giving that, I suppose, scientific evidence is really important, particularly for you all as viewers, to know that there's an emotional reason for doing this, but also I think just as importantly is the nutritional aspect as well. We decided exclusively breastfeed for around 12 months. We introduced food just over 10 months, but it was literally a taste of this and a taste of that. It was not substantial and did not constitute a meal really, so it was just really play initially. So breast milk was the primary source of nutrition and fuel for around the 12-month mark. And so for me, bonding is really important. The idea that you're holding your baby close, that they're being comforted, not just when they need food, but also emotionally when they're feeling sad, when they're feeling angry. They say breast is best for a lot of things, and now that I've gone through this experience, I definitely feel that there are those advantages there. So that was one thing, and for those that follow a parenting style called attachment parenting, that's some elements of that are what we really gravitated towards. And particularly the idea that when you keep your child close, it's not that they'll be attached to you and unable to let go. It's actually the opposite, where they develop what they call a secure attachment. So they feel a sense of safety and comfort in knowing that the mother, the primary carer, is close by. And so that safety and comfort and security carries through towards childhood and adulthood as well. So you could imagine a secure person is more able and more equipped to make better decisions and feel better about themselves. And so that's what we wanted to do, raise a happy child but also a confident adult as well. So that was one reason why breastfeeding and particularly being around Alia so much was really important. And so I think I'm just going to jump over to you, Shooks, and if you could just talk about the nutritional reasons and some of the evidence around why someone should exclusively breastfeed, even beyond the recommendation of six months.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's quite widely established that breastfeeding is the approach that's been listed as best for the child in terms of the initial stages of life. The World Health Organization recommends breastfeeding exclusively for at least 6 months of the child's life. So note, at least, it can be more. Now, in terms of the nutritional content of breast milk, it's the perfect food for a child. Just like any other mammal, human beings are designed to drink milk at a very early stage until they are weaned. And so, just like a cow will drink from its mother, a human will also drink from its mother. And so, when we think about the nutritional content of breast milk, it provides all the essential nutrients that a child needs to sustain life. And it can be for a significant portion of time, sometimes years even, that children will continue to breastfeed. And therefore, for us, it was really important that we provided this optimal form of nutrition for our child, and therefore breastfeeding played a huge role in that. One of the other reasons we decided to breastfeed exclusively for almost 12 months is that we had Dr. Michael Clapper come to Auckland because we hosted him for an event, and he came home and had dinner with us, and it was really insightful when I was talking to him about breastfeeding, and he said, make sure you breastfeed exclusively for as long as you can, at least up to 12 months. And I found that really interesting because everything I'd heard was up to 6 months up until that point. And the reasoning behind that was that the intestinal lining of the child's gut is permeable, which means that particles are able to pass through the intestinal lining at this initial stage up until 12 months of life. And what this means is that there are certain components of breast milk, and it's been designed this way, it's almost perfect in design, that there are certain aspects of the breast milk that are designed to pass through the gut lining and into the child's body. For example, antibodies. When the child is sick, the mother can produce antibodies through her breast milk that will go into the child through the gut lining and then be able to protect the child from illnesses and other types of ailments, which is just a fantastic system. So we really wanted to have the benefits of that. I think it's been very effective for Alia. So for those two reasons, optimal nutrition, and also in terms of making sure that the gut lining, nothing permeated through that wasn't supposed to. For example, certain allergens or proteins can pass through the intestinal lining, which the child can produce antibodies against. We don't want to be doing that, which means that we decided to stay away from any kind of serious solid food until well after the 12-month period.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, having Dr. Clapper kind of educate us around this has been excellent. And Shook, you mentioned, it's been really great for Alia, and she really is thriving and is a very healthy, happy child, and has only been sick once, and has been on a number of flights. We've been to India, Thailand, Singapore, Laos, Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. So we've got seven countries, and so that's a lot of flying, and that was all before she was even sort of 16 months old. So she's done a lot of flying, and everyone cautioned me on the fact that airplanes are sort of a cesspool of sickness and bad bacteria. So, but really, she has not been affected by that. So it makes me think that this decision to exclusively breastfeed and provide her with a really strong foundation has been well worth it.
Yeah. And just before you carry on, while we're still on the nutrition topic, I just wanted to make a couple of points for the benefits of breast milk. Now, there's some research coming out, and it's still in its infancy, but there are very strong links that are pointing towards the proteins in cow's milk and type 1 diabetes. So that the body is creating antibodies against this cow's milk protein, and it is shutting down cells of the pancreas. Now, this is kind of scary, and again, as I said, it's only in its infancy, but there's some very strong links pointing in that direction that cow's milk is being directly linked to type 1 diabetes. We're also finding that cow's milk protein, whether it is being drunk by the child or if it's being passed through the mother's breast milk, is also linked to colic, which is a very painful condition when the child has it, and it can cause sore stomach, etc. So there's definite benefits to breastfeeding compared to formula. Not only does breast milk provide superior nutrition, but also can try and avoid some of these uncomfortable situations for your child.
Absolutely. And again, as we said initially in the video, we don't judge anyone that makes decisions to use formula over breastfeeding. I know that it's not always an option to breastfeed, so that's really important.
Yeah, and you can think of using different types of formula, so you don't have to use formula that has cow's milk, and therefore you avoid those proteins. So, for example, soy milk formula would also be perfectly adequate if you can't breastfeed, and if you want to avoid those kind of situations that are linked to cow's milk.
I also wanted to touch on, Shukul, the nutrition of the mother. So if you are deciding to breastfeed exclusively or otherwise, ensuring that the likes of, perhaps you can touch on B12, particularly for people that are plant-based, and also, we on a daily basis consume a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. So nutrition is really important. So you don't have to do exactly what we're doing. I mean, you can see what I'm doing. Check out another video on my channel for what I eat in a day. But why is it so important that people have sufficient, mothers rather, have sufficient nutrition while they're breastfeeding?
Oh yeah, this is essential, and it just makes sense that the healthier you are, the healthier the components of your milk will be, and therefore also aiding the nutrition of your child. And so making sure that you eat a very healthy whole food plant-based diet, which is not only been shown to be the healthiest diet that's ever been studied, but we know for a fact that it prevents and reverses heart disease, it prevents and reverses diabetes, and many other situations. Obviously provides the right microbiome for the gut, and there's some evidence that shows that having the microbiome of the mother can transfer to the baby, and which can also mean that it gets the right start in life. So there's huge benefits of being healthy, and it's also important for you. You want to be healthy too. So not only for the health of your child, but your health, and then obviously if you're healthy, you can enjoy your time with your children much more as well. So yeah, I recommend a whole food plant-based diet, one that is low in fat and contains no oil.
Certainly if you are breastfeeding exclusively, there's a lot of nutrients being taken out of your body. So as Shilpa said, having a really healthy diet is important. Also making sure, which I did during the course of my breastfeeding journey, is to have blood tests to make sure all your iron levels, B12, etc. is at the right level, that you have everything in order to pass it on to your baby. So B12 is something that comes up time and time again. So I supplement, as do most people, not just plant-based people. So everything that I'm consuming gets passed on through the breast milk to the baby as well. So that's really key.
B12, we can probably make a whole new video about B12, but just quickly, I mean, B12 is a waste product of bacteria. It's not made by animals, it's not made by plants. So because we're not in contact with bacteria as much, we just don't get access to B12 as much as we used to living in the natural world. So yeah, supplement with B12. Doesn't matter if you're plant-based or vegan or eating meat, just supplement.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this information really useful. If you have any questions or comments, chuck them down below. If you like the video, make sure you click that like button, and if you'd like to see future videos on this topic or any other topic, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
See ya.